Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me on this Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. I want to bring you some information about the royal family. There is some rift going on over there in the UK, and it is not sounding good. And if you need verification for this information, please log on to people.com. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry felt their hand was forced to leave royal family amid bad blood. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's decision to step down as senior royals became inevitable as the couple increasingly felt ostracized from the family. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex released a statement on Wednesday announcing their intent to carve out a progressive new role with this institution. However, the public announcement came with little formal warning and left senior royals hurt, something that was so avoidable, a royal source says. But in this week's cover story, a family friend tells People that the couple felt they had no choice but to manage things the way they did, even as they went against the family's never complain, never explain mantra. This is not how they wanted to handle this, but Meghan and Harry's hand was forced, says the friend. There is so much bad blood in that family. It's toxic. The friend adds, if relationships had been better, things would have been different. Some of the some of the division between Prince Harry and Prince William can be tracked back to the early days of Harry and Meghan's romance, when sources say William cautioned Harry about moving too fast. Harry opened up about his relationship with his brother in the ITV documentary Harry and Meghan: An African Journey, saying, inevitably, stuff happens, but we're brothers, we'll always be brothers. We're certainly on different paths at the moment. In the same documentary, Meghan told interviewer and longtime pal of Harry, Tom Bradby, that not many people have asked if she was doing okay, and insiders say the comment was a thinly veiled reference to her in-laws. The negative press they endured and Meghan's outsider status as a biracial American left her deeply, deeply hurt, says a source close to the royal household, and feeling unsupported by the royal family. Meghan and Harry didn't feel they got enough support or solace from them, says the source. Queen Elizabeth called Prince Harry, Prince William, and their father, Prince Charles, to come together for a meeting on the matter at their Sandringham home on Monday. Following the 90-minute summit, she released a remarkably personal statement. Today, my family had very constructive discussions on the future of my grandson and his family, the Queen said. My family and I are entirely supportive of Harry and Meghan's desire to create a new life as a young family. Although we would have preferred them to remain full time working members of the royal family, we respect and understand their wish to live a more independent life as a family while remaining a valued part of my family. Harry and Meghan have made clear that they do not want to be reliant on public funds in their new lives. It has therefore been agreed that there will be a period of transition in which the Sussexes will spend time in Canada and the UK. These are complex matters for my family to resolve, and there is some more work to be done, but I have asked for final decisions to be reached in the coming days. Royal historian and biographer of the Queen, Robert Lacey, tells People, it was incredibly personal. I can't recall a royal statement where one gets to sense so much of the Queen herself speaking, using phrases like my family and I is very moving. It clearly shows her wish to resolve everything. Adds Ingrid Seward, another biographer of the Queen. It's deliberately very vague and doesn't tell us much apart from Harry and Meghan have won the first round. I have never seen a statement like that in 30 years. It was very personal and sounds very sad. And that is the said information on um, Meghan and Harry leaving the royal family. If you need information confirmation for this said storyline, please log on to people.com, and there is a video attached to that article. So please, I recommend you logging on if you're interested in this story. Now I'll give you my commentary. Um, I think it's very sad that it has come down to this. With Harry and Meghan, we had all heard of the discord and rumors about her, her family life and this and that. And it's just a sad day, I think, that they even had to make the decision. And what I want to say to you today is that is the monarchy worthy of still being around? I had heard this years ago that someone said, maybe it shouldn't even be around. with all the hoopla, the lifestyle itself, how people live now, because we are in a more modern time, a modern day, and is the royal status, should it stay around? And that is an interesting question. Do the people there, the Brits, do they think they need it? You have to always ask that. Is it necessary? Because you always have to think about the fact of one bowing down to a queen. Well, man implemented that, because you wouldn't know anything about bowing down to a queen until somebody told you that's what you're supposed to do. This is how it's going to be. These are the people running our country. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You get where I'm going. So one has to question that. The fact that Charles, of course, is next in line from the queen, and then after Charles is Prince of Wales, and that is William. So you see, there's a ladder to this monarchy. And you have to ask yourself, with all the things we've heard in the past with Lady Diana and all the shenanigans that went on, and how she felt ostracized and felt she was mistreated by the queen and husband and thereof, others participants, that was a terrible situation there. So now we are going back in time in modern day now, and it's like the same mess has arose with this young lady Meghan. And I think it's very sad, and it's in poor taste. And imagine being watched every day. Every move you make, everything you do and say, how you're dressed is being critiqued by the public, by news outlets, magazines, trash magazines, all of that. They're watching your every move. You no longer have the freedom to roam and do as you please. And of course, we knew, and she knew what she was getting into by joining, but she did it obviously for love. She loved this man. They courted, they dated, he married her. Now we're hearing that the brother, William, had a problem with her, or the relationship itself. It was too soon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who's to say? I don't know. But my thing is, if he's not complaining about the wife and she's not complaining about him, who cares? That's their business. And see, that's the point. There's always somebody meddling and worrying about somebody else's business. Now, was he giving him brotherly advice? I don't know. But nonetheless, I'm seeing flashbacks of Lady Di, and that I don't like. That I do not like. Don't like that. And I think it's obvious. They obviously had to have talked about the said situation. So you're wondering, who said what to whom? What did the queen say? Ooh, Lord, could I be a fly on the wall? I'd probably fall off. What did she say during this meeting? What did Harry say? What did Charles say? You understand what I'm saying? What did William say? What did they all talk about? And why is it that there wasn't a amicable decision met, that they could meet up somewhere in the middle? Why did this man and his wife have to decide to leave the royal family? Because that lets us know things didn't go very well in that meeting. And frankly, I think they should have been had talks. Now, I don't know if they had, because naturally they don't tell the public everything, but I don't think it should have came down to this. And whatever beef the brothers had, I have no idea, but I'm surely hoping it's not about Meghan, because I'm sure he didn't want no one worrying about who he chose as his bride. You understand what I'm saying? Meghan didn't choose her family. We heard all the hoopla about the father and him talking to outlets and giving his commentary, the sister coming out giving her commentary about Meghan and this and that. You see, nobody chooses their family. Nobody chooses their parents. You don't wake up one day and go in a line and say, yeah, I picked that one and that one as my mom and my daddy, or grandmama, my grandmama, whomever. You don't get that luxury. And she didn't get that luxury. So whatever was going on with her family dynamic, it had nothing to do with her. And of course, she being a biracial young lady, mixed with African American in her blood, black, whichever word you want to use, that brought talk. Her being an actress, that brought talk. Her family dynamic, the problems with the parents, family members, them talking, running their mouths, giving commentary, that helped feed the rhetoric. As I've always said, that if people would be quiet, it could lessen the gossip, the rumors. But it doesn't help when people start running their mouths and giving their commentary, giving their opinions of this and who I don't like, blah, blah, blah. We don't get along. That starts the ball of fire. and it don't stop. So here it is. This lady, excuse me, trying to court this guy. He's a royal family. She had no idea where it would go. He didn't have any idea. And then boom, they're married. And now she's trying to transition into this life that would be a very hectic life to get into because of the royal duties that were given to them, which is expected. Being in the public eye, being judged, scrutinized, your personal life, your background. Now here comes people prodding, worrying about your family, what they did, didn't do. Then they start running their mouths talking. Can you imagine what that would be like? I don't think we could understand what it would be like to be under the watchful eye of others 24/7. That the life we had and enjoyed, we no longer have. Not saying we cut our friends and family off, but just to say you live now in another world, across the pond, learning new people, new way of life, being expected to be a certain way, act a certain way, talk a certain way. That would have to be a lot on a person. As I stated, I don't know the beef between the brothers. I don't know what the beef is that was going on between Meghan and the other young lady, the Duchess, William's wife. I don't even know if that was actual true that they had issues. There were rumors at one time. I don't really know. I try not to feed into that. Even when I was hearing the rumors a while back, a year or so or two ago, I never fed into that because I feel like, didn't want to get into all that because you never know what's truth and what is not. So you have to wonder what is going on, the dynamics between the brothers. Is it all about Miss Meghan? Is it problems with William's wife and Miss Meghan? Were they actually having rifts with one another? What does the Queen have to say? Did the Queen have a problem with Meghan? Did she ever speak to her on occasion about things she didn't like or problems? Or vice versa? Did Meghan give them confirmation of things she didn't care for or didn't want to do? See, you wonder about all that. Because you wonder that now because of the fact that they have left the royal family. Now, since they will be living between the UK and Canada, where will they actually be living? Will they try to work it out and come back to the royal family and resume their royal duties and their roles into the royal family? Are they going to live as civilians? Harry has made it clear in this article, they say, that he does not want to be dependent on the public's money. So will he be living off his money, trust fund, or whatever, or allotments that they give him? Will they still be giving him money? I'm assuming they would still be giving him his royal money because he is still a royal member, of the family, just won't be having royal duties and living on the said properties that they own. But will they live as civilians? What will he do for income? What will Meghan do? Will she go back to acting or will she be resuming duties as far as nonprofit organizations and working with the, public, private sectors to do charity work? And will she go back to acting? She was acting before she married this gentleman, Mr. Harry. So I wonder all those things. And I'm sure many people, now that they see that they have left or leaving and will be transitioning into another life, raising their child. And I think it's like, as I said, I think this is so sad because I'm sure he had high hopes when he married this young lady, and so did she. And I'm sure she never thought it would come down to this. And of course, she had to think of Lady Diana, their mother, who is no longer living, and all the terrible things that came along with that lady being involved with this family, to where it damn near drove that woman crazy, to where she ended up, of course, divorcing the father and living a separate life, moving on with her life, dating, and then the untimely death in another country. So we have to ask ourselves, did she realize, I don't want to become another Lady Di? I don't want to end up like her, so I'm going to put a stop to it before I end up in that situation. Because we already knew and had known and heard the rumors of how terribly Miss Lady Di was treated by that family, that same family that is around today. And don't you find that interesting? that you fast forward 20 something odd years, and now all that happened in the past has now come back full circle with Mr. Harry and his bride, his wife, and he has a child with her. And I think this is what is more sad, is that it is modern day, and we're getting flashbacks of Lady Di and all that mess that went on back then. May not be the same circumstances as far as the affairs and all that, but still sad nonetheless that there are people not getting along with each other, which causes problems. And we know that once people feel ostracized, mistreated, undervalued, they start to act out and they start to do and start saying things. And we definitely don't want that for this young couple. And we definitely don't want them to end up parting ways because of this rift with the family. I hope they can work it out. But as I stated many moons ago, a beautiful young lady married into that same family, and she suffered so. And she ended up, once she was free of all that madness, died at an early age. And we definitely don't want anything horrible to happen with this young couple here, especially Miss Meghan, because she deserves so much better. And I'm sure she had high hopes for herself and her life with this man. Until the next video, this is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.